Hello, everybody. Good morning and welcome to day 10 of our retreat program as we prepare for next year. If you can get me loud and clear, please can you leave me a comment in the chat box? Can you get me? You can get me loud and clear, leave me a comment. Just confirm if you can get me loud and clear to be sure that tech is good. Good morning, Clotilde. Can you get me? Good morning, Elvis. Good morning, Clifford. Good morning, everybody. All right, welcome to day 10 of our program. Let us go straight to work. I am very excited about day 10. I'm very excited about day 10 because day 10 is talking about three key things that if you are able to master as a professional and as a business person, as an entrepreneur, there is so much that you can do in the world. There's so much you can do in your industry. There's so much you can do across the country where you're based, across the continent, and why not globally? So, as I talk about these things, I need you to begin to do a deep, thorough self analysis, especially professionally, and begin to see where you need to make changes so you can become better in these areas. Because I can guarantee you one thing, that if you are able to master the art, the science, and the process of consistently growing in these three areas, there is so much that you can achieve as a professional. Okay? All right. So we are looking at day 10 says go for impact, knowledge, and ideas. Go for impact, knowledge, and ideas to attract success. Go for these three critical things. Of course, there are other things that which we have been talking about that you need to go for, but today I want to tell you what I want to present with you around these three elements, which are very important. When you understand them and you take actions, consistent actions into these in these elements, there is a way that these elements can catapult your impact, your influence, your success, your finances, your whatever you're looking for as a professional and as an entrepreneur. Okay, so let us look at day 10 morning. For those who are joining today for the first time or following the session later on for the first time, we are using my book 35 Days of Redefining You for Success to prepare ourselves for the next coming year. Day 10 of the book says, successful people go after impact and not money. Successful people go after impact and not money. Last year, I think in 2020, in the heat of COVID-19, when there was like a total global shutdown, and I was not traveling, events were not holding, so I stayed indoors in the house, like the same place, the highest place I could go during COVID-19 was go do shopping, go buy food, and of course go to church and come back. So I was not traveling as I used to travel and speak in events across different countries and cities in Cameroon. So I had a lot of time to do deeper studies and so on. And one thing I did in 2020 was that I took time to study summary biographies of 200 top billionaires across the world, right? I wanted to learn a lot about their mindset, how they build their businesses, how they create wealth, and all of that. And I learned a lot of things from them. Until today, anytime I stumble on a successful person who has gone ahead in terms of creating impact and building wealth and all of that, I don't focus about, I celebrate them for their wealth, I celebrate them for their success, but I'm more concerned with how did they get there, right? So, and one thing I learned as far as these people are concerned, yes, they have made money, but when you begin to read their early stories, and even presently right now, their biggest drive is not to become among Forbes top 200 billionaires. Not very few of them. I've not seen anybody say that my goal is I want to work so hard so that I can be rated among the top 100 billionaires in the world. I have not seen, even in like documentaries and private research and interviews, I have not seen any great persons say that 10 years ago, 50 years ago, 20 years ago, their major goal was to set out so that one day they will announce them on television as people who are among the top 10 billionaires across the world. No, none of them that I have studied set out with that particular goal. Their biggest goal that they set out to do was to create, to solve problems, and to make life easy for other people. That's their biggest goal. Their biggest goal was impact. Their biggest goal was the excitement to create stuff. Their biggest goal was to contribute to the environment. And when you do this, you automatically attract success. You automatically attract the influence and the money and all of that, because there is no way that you can enable human beings to perform better, become better, and achieve things faster, and you don't succeed in the process. That's why some people say, for you to succeed, help other people to succeed. You get a point? For example, me personally, right? I was doing an interview with a magazine in London, in UK, and I said, truthfully, if you told me 12 years ago when I started my journey in our small town village in Kumbu that someday I will travel the world, someday I will, be on television and be on different shows across the world and magazines, I will tell you that it's impossible. Because when I started, I have never traveled to my capital city in Yaoundé. I did not have a passport. I did not know what travel meant. All I wanted was to gather young people across in the house, gather them in our churches and train them. I was super excited about that, right? That was all I determined. And I did not have a blueprint that, oh, this is how I was going to become, right? Like, setting out to just, this is what I want to be. All I wanted was to do what? To create and to contribute as far as employability skills and business skills is concerned in the community. That was my biggest desires. Now, other things started coming into play. Then I started adapting in the process. I said, okay, this could be possible. Oh, this can happen. There are many things I was naive about, exceptionally naive. When I started everything, I was super naive about everything. That's why I always tell you guys that my vision personally only grew bigger, and I started rewriting my life plan based on the exposure I had. But the primary goal was not this. The primary goal was just, how do we help young people in Kumbu to do this, to become more employable, to go back to school, to start successful business. That was the whole goal at that particular time. You get the concept? So when you do that, automatically, and one thing I love about going after impact is that your obsession, let me use that word, your obsession, your dedication can almost be unstoppable. You know why? Because you are not driven by money. Somebody who is driven by impact, when the money is not coming, you keep on going because you are driven by something higher than money. That's why there are many things that I see create time to do totally for free today, because there's still that big part of me who just focus on giving back, right? Like, for example, this basically 30 days program we are doing right now. If they're supposed to pay, like I charge training and coaching sessions, how many people can pay less on average, let's say 200,000 francs every day for 30 days? That's going to be what? Almost how many million to pay that, right? So it's not about the money. It's just about how do you contribute? How do you create more impact? Yes, there is a place where you need to make money. There's a place where you need to become successful, if that's part of your plan, all of that. Those things are very important, right? But then there is a higher purpose, which is called impact. What are you bringing to the table? What are you contributing? What are you volunteering towards? And one thing about impactful people is that they are always seeking for the desire to become better. They are always seeking for means to become better at what they do. And to do this, they are forced to create more impact and to serve more. And this is where volunteering comes in. This is where, at the beginning of your career, you can do a lot for free for the purpose of, number one, contributing, number two, perfecting your game, number three, building credibility, number four, just exposing yourselves. You get the point? So, and that's why I always encourage people that at the beginning of your career, make sure you are doing a lot of work. Create time to make sure you're doing a lot of work. If you're working in a company right now, whether as an admin assistant, whether as whatever position, make sure in that company where you work, you are going the extra mile. Go for impact. Don't only do the work based on how much you're being paid. Go further than that. Do you know why? Because when you go further than that, you are preparing yourself for the great future that you desire. When you go further than that, you stretch yourself. You stretch yourself in terms of attitude, in terms of character, in terms of mindset, in terms of knowledge, in terms of experience. And these are things that you cannot read in a book. Let me tell you guys something. There are certain things that you need in the journey of success that no book can teach you, no coach can teach you, no trainer can teach you. You have to walk through the process to do it. That's why personally for me, I still volunteer. Anywhere I find myself, I seek better ways to give a lot. The more you give, the more you contribute, the more you create impact, the more you stretch. There are many times that when I go to a city, maybe just for a few days, or a country for a few days, few weeks, I'll find a place where I can train for free. I can do some work for free. Because number one, it's going to expose me to that business. It's going to expose me to new people. It's going to give me new experiences and all of that. Right? So even right now here, as I'm here in the US for the moment, what am I doing? There are places where I've said, okay, can I volunteer here? I've sent out applications to volunteer virtually because it's going to stretch. It's going to enable me to contribute, and in the process, I will attract something. The most beautiful thing about impact is that it always attracts something. As I said earlier, impact can attract new ideas. Impact can attract new experiences. Impact can attract new networks. Impact can attract new opportunities. So always go for impact. Always go for impact. You know, let me give you a testimony about always. Let me tell you something. There's always an organization I'm volunteering for. Always. I'm very conscious about this habit of always creating impact, always giving back, always volunteering, always how can I contribute, right? So apart from the several free trainings I do on different platforms, but I try to do what I call targeted industry volunteering. Target industry volunteering. That is, I find where my skills can be needed, I apply to volunteer, or I just push to be part of it because I need it, for example, for different reasons. One thing that consistently creating impact will give you is that it will build your profile, it will build your credibility, it will build your track record, which you can use for more opportunities, right? Now, for example, I have volunteered with President Barack Obama's foundation, right there in Chicago, in the US. And just having it on my file, just having it on my profile, just having it on my CV that I have done volunteering this with Obama Foundation has given me a lot of opportunities. How do I know? Anytime I send my CV somewhere for something and we're having like a call or a discussion, they'll always go to that and tell me, so how did you get the opportunity to volunteer with the foundation? Because there are thousands who will apply and they will not be selected, right? So now that is a brand. That's a very big brand. That's a very big global brand, global institution. attached to somebody who is very global, right? And that alone, having that attachment with them as a volunteer for the purpose of creating impact and contributing to the institution's vision and objectives and purpose, I definitely attracted something, which was credibility, which was endorsement, which was, and the funny thing is that after the volunteering, they issue certificates to recognize that I have volunteered with the foundation. You get the concept? So it is important. So I want to challenge you. If you're a worker right now, go for impact, not just a salary. Work beyond your salary if you can. I would strongly advise that, because when you do that, you are attracting something, right? If you're unemployed, find where you can contribute and create impact. If you're an entrepreneur, create time to see how you can stretch further and create more impact where you are. Okay. Number two is, okay, the life application question says, what impact do you want to create in your community, in your nation, in your continent, and in the world at large? What impact do you want to create? Let us say that you have the time, you have all the resources. Only forget about time and resources. Let's say, looking at where you are right now, in your life, describe in one statement in the chat box the kind of impact you would like to create in your community next year. We're preparing for next year, right? Describe the kind of impact you would like to create for your community next year. Leave me a comment in the chat box. I will display the best comments. Not too long, maybe two statements, 2 sentences is enough. Be straight to the point, summarize it, right? Yes. Apart from your normal daily routine, apart from your normal work, apart from your normal business, what we like to add as something extra based on what I've explained as far as going for impact is concerned. What do you think? What is coming to your mind? What would you like to contribute as impact in your community, in the nation, in the continent? What do you think that you will do next year in an extraordinary way just to go more for impact and to be a serious contributor as a professional one or as an entrepreneur? Let's go. Again, remember, it is part of your growth. It's a tool for growth. It's a tool for growth, and it's something that you need to be very intentional about it. One thing I've made up my mind is, for the next till I ever retire or die, whatever, as long as I have blood in my veins and I'm active, I will always have an institution where I am contributing, where I am serving, right? Sometimes the things I do is, sometimes I see an event and I write the event organizer that I want to speak in your event for free. Sometimes people will be shocked. What? Are you serious? For free? I wrote one guy like that, and the guy wanted me to speak in the events, and he assumed that I would be expensive for him, so he did not contact me. When I reached out to him, the guy was surprised. The guy was so surprised. Okay, let me display. Bosco says, fighting and eradicating illiteracy among all age groups. Okay, this is good, right? I'll prefer it to be more tailored and more specific. This is what you want to do next year. Okay, so maybe you say by the end of 2023 or December or whatever year, you now say that you would like to help 50 school dropouts to go back to school and develop literacy skills. Now, that is impact. That is feasible. Okay, good. So think about it. Free business consultations for startups. Okay, by December, I would like to provide free business consultations to 10, 15 startups. Again, Free business consultation is too broad also, right? Uh, um, you can be more specific. Okay, you business consultant in what area? One thing that was funny, like people just start business consultant. After I always say there's nothing like business consultants, right? So business is too broad. There's nobody who can. Very few people are real good at. People even avoid that. Even me, I avoid doing that, right? So be specific. What is your area of business that you can help a startup to become successful? It's more impactful like that. Okay. BB says empower people on their health through making and use of healthy oils. Okay, good. Creating awareness on hard work and knowledge research despite the difficult occasions, difficult situations in the country. Right, good. Akem TV says, drop complaining in my workplace and nation and work to build the environment in which I find myself. Okay. Dennis says, I will want to train 200 young Cameroonians on sustainable agriculture. That's good. Elvis says, get families more closer together, especially my school circle, teaching more children from 13 to 17 years in poultry farming, fish production, mushroom farming. I want to train 100 kids in 2023. Good, that's good. Charitable, reach out to the less privileged. That be more specific. Maybe you would like to visit 2 orphanages in 2023, and in these 2 orphanages, you would like to provide clothing to 50 orphans, provide school fees to 10 orphans, whatever. Be more specific. It enables you to intentionally, produce the results that even you can be proud of, and you are able to hold yourself accountable based on what you want to do. Talk to students in my school about self-love and building self-esteem. This is very important, Ruth. I used to do this when I used to teach in high school. In 2012 and 13, I think, yes, I used to teach in an evening high school, and then I used to teach. Then I was recruited to teach in Baptist High School for 1 year. So I used to teach marketing management and commerce and finance. And in all my classes, the last 15 minutes of my class, I used to take time and just do, you can call it motivational speaking or inspirational speaking. And it challenged the students. All my students in high school that year passed their GCE because I was not just giving them, the book knowledge, but I tried to engineer their mindsets, their souls, and all of that. And today I have very good relationships with those students, because of the kind of mindset that I gave them, and many of them were so grateful. So that thing is so powerful because many a times the country where we are is so difficult, and people need a different kind of mindset and attitude and character and resourcefulness to be able to reach out and do that. So that taking out time to talk to your students on self-love and building self-esteem and teaching them some of these things at that early age becomes very, very powerful. Okay? All right. Well done, everybody, for those who have participated. Well done. Okay. So, we proceed. We now talk about going after knowledge and ideas. That's day 10 evening says, successful people go after knowledge and ideas. I have been saying this and I will keep saying this until Jesus will come. In all you do as a person, please go for the best industry knowledge. Go for the best industry knowledge. One thing that you will notice about successful people is that they command a certain level of expertise and knowledge in the field where where they dominate. They intentionally do that. Are we there? So, if you desire success, and again, we're saying all of these things about impact and knowledge and ideas because you don't run after success. Nobody has ever chased success and succeeded. Only people who became attracted the success. Okay? So, you want to become successful, you want to become impactful, you want to become relevant. The element of going for knowledge, relevant industry knowledge in the field, in the industry where you desire to succeed is unquestionable. That's why I always pity people who struggle to read. I always feel so sorry for them, actually. People who struggle to read, I feel very sorry for them. Worst of all, people who struggle to read or to gather knowledge, but they desire a kind of life. I feel very sorry for them. Right? So you need to go for knowledge. Go for books. Go for courses. Go back to school. Take the traditional academic programs. Do what you can do and go for the knowledge that you need. The foundation of being resourceful and becoming successful in any industry that you desire is knowledge about that industry. There is no way you can go around it. No way. Even like you think that you're going to have money and recruit people. If you recruit people to work for you and you don't even have the foundational knowledge about that industry and that business, you will find it difficult to lead them, or you will find it difficult to even lead the institution to achieve the objectives of that institution. Okay? Like, for example, I was advising somebody who they directed to me for coaching, and I said, so the person has passion to run a school, and I said, okay, as you're having this plan, you need to make sure that I would strongly recommend that you go back to school and do a BSc or do a short program or do a master's program in educational management or curriculum design or something. But before that, make sure you are taking short courses online. You can go on Allison, you can go on all these free online platforms and even paid online platforms where they provide short courses, and take courses on education. You need it. Having money is not enough to run a successful business and an institution. You need to make sure you go for the knowledge. Okay, so go for the knowledge, people. Go for knowledge. Successful people go after relevant and industry knowledge, because there is no way you can create value without knowledge. That is why one thing about knowledge is when you acquire and deploy the right knowledge in your industry, it can affect your economic value. It can affect your money value. It can affect what you attract as finances. It can affect your status in the society, because people start respecting you based on the value and the knowledge that you command in your industry. Are you getting me? So please don't play with if you have anything around your life that is distracting you from acquiring relevant knowledge, you need to get rid of that thing. It's destroying your career. It's hurting your career. I can tell you. You may not feel it right now, but tomorrow you will regret it. Because one thing about life is, as days are going by, your responsibility is to become better every day. You don't just wake up and you become successful. Success is not mysterious. Success does not happen overnight. It is a becoming process. And part of the becoming process is you are acquiring the right relevant industry knowledge in that field where you desire to succeed. And then you deploy that knowledge so you can produce results. Anybody you see producing results is deploying a certain kind of knowledge that you need to get access to if you would like to produce the same results or better results than that person. Go for knowledge, okay? I will not emphasize on this very much because if you are part of PPA, you know how much I have talked about knowledge acquisition and, of course, knowledge deployment. Then the last part for today is go for ideas. Go for ideas. Successful people go for ideas. They are always seeking ideas. Ideas about how to get things better, ideas on how to improve things, ideas on how to innovate, ideas on how to challenge, ideas on how to come. They are always seeking ideas. Okay? One thing that you need to learn to do as a professional and as an entrepreneur is creating time intentionally to just brainstorm about ideas. Let me give you an example. I write a lot. Many of you read from me basically every day. I write every day and I distribute every day on newsletters and WhatsApp groups and all of that. And sometimes somebody came to me and say, how do you get all these content ideas? How do you know what to always write? Because because in a year I write on average 400 articles every year, sometimes even more, right? All of this is because I always think about ideas. I always think about different ideas. I have ideas of different books. I have like 20 something book titles that I've written down, right? I have like 100 content ideas that if anytime I want to write content and if there's no fresh idea, I just go to that content list. I stick as I see anyone, my mind sees it, my mind start and that's the power of also going for knowledge and reading because you always have enough. There is no way that you give me an idea, you give me a word in my field, you give me a statement in my field, I will stand and not know what to say. Right? Like for example, even this session that we are doing right now, I don't prepare any notes. As I read that statement, all the wisdom is inside of me. I just start talking. My mind start processing it as I'm speaking right now. There's no slide anywhere. There's no paper. I just have to see one major point, and then all of it start coming. Right? So, and that's the power of ideas. Ideas can go for business. One of the best ways to scale and make your business more successful is the ability to think about your business. Like, for example, my company, CosDev Group, I have ideas of things I would like to implement in CosDev Group up to 2040 already. If you give me 10 billion now, I will not lack what to do with it. I will seamlessly execute it and you'll be like, wait, there's a perfect plan. There are perfect ideas in place just to run with it. You get the concept. So that's the power of ideas. And ideas are not perfect. Your job, that's why please let me give you one secret about ideas. Learn to jot it down. Learn to write it down, right? Let me see if I can show you guys so thank God for phones nowadays. Sometimes I use how do you call it? Voice recording. Sometimes I'm walking on the street, I'm doing something, an idea drops in my mind. I just record it. I put my voice notes and I record it and I keep it. Later in the evening, whatever time, I take it, I document it, I jot it down. Maybe I'm working on my laptop, an idea pops in my mind, I jot it down on the sticky notes. Or I use Notepad on the phone, right? Notepad. If you see, let me see. Can you guys see this? This is my Notepad. If I scroll up like this, these are ideas. These are different ideas like this. Are you seeing? These are ideas. Right? So, and these ideas cut across like different things, books, articles, strategies, execution, all of these things. You get a point? And then most of these ideas are still raw ideas. My job is to write them down. And of course, sometimes the difference of is that I am very conscious about the gift of the Holy Spirit, the person of the Holy Spirit. He of course helps a lot. He helps seriously a lot too. Sometimes I'll just say that Holy Ghost help me. And trust me, he gives me ideas. Okay, do this, do this, do this. Right? That's the part of spirituality in business also. There are some things that You need to get them from the deep of the deep, right? There's that part, but there's a part where just your mind that God has given you is so super amazing. Some people have never gone up. There are some of you listen to right now. You are not using up to 2% of your mind. Do you know that? They said, I'll look for that test. There's a test that when you take that test, it helps you to know how many percent of your mind that you're using. If some of you take that test, this is an online test. I took that test somewhere. Which country was that? And they showed me, I think I was using just about 15% of my mind. I was like, only? That means my mind is just, I've not even gone half of it, right? So the mind is a very powerful, the brain, the mind is a very powerful tool that you need to explore it. So please, go for ideas, think. And one of the best ways to get different ideas is knowledge, exposure, and experience. Knowledge, exposure, and experience. Sometimes, just like many times, like since I came to the US, I have like so many business ideas that I have jotted them down because of the restaurants I've visited, the hotels I've been into, the shopping malls I've been into. Because the more you see new things that your mind have not seen before, the more new ideas that you can create, you can adapt, you can improve, and all of that. That's what I always say. Sometimes you go for events, not because you go for events. The events give you more than the knowledge that the speaker brought. You meet new people, you are exposed, you learn, and that leads to new ideas. Okay? That's why people who exclude themselves, they're not very good in ideation. People, if you exclude yourself and you don't read, you have very limited ideas. But people, I know friends who are not very outgoing, but they read a lot. They read a lot of articles and books, so they have a lot of ideas. But if you are that kind of person that events, you don't go. You don't mingle around industry events. Number two, you don't read books, you don't read articles. So your mind is basically like a junk. Because your mind only carries what you knew. So it's very limited. So your mind, the ability of your mind to engineer and think of diverse ideas is very, very limited. Okay? So as you prepare for next year, I want to challenge you. Intentionally make up your mind that next year you will go for impact. You will go for industry knowledge. And most importantly, you will intentionally seek for ideas. Don't just move around. There's some people that if they move around, like if they're walking on the streets, if they walk like, I don't know, 300 meters, their mind doesn't reason around anything. It's not a good mind. Let your mind notice things and ask questions. Oh, why was this done like this? What if not? What you think? Let your mind think like that. If you're that kind of person that you walk 300 meters, your mind is not seeing anything new, not questioning anything. You are just walking. Yeah, that's you like that, just walking. Nothing. You are not even a different car color, even a car brand you have never seen before. You have never noticed it. You need to check your mind. Your mind is very limited as far as ideation is concerned. Okay? All right, everybody. That's it for today. Any questions for me before we round up? Any questions? What did you pick out today that is very important for you that you will practice, you will start practicing? Leave me a comment. The best comments I will display on the screen. Tell me something. Ask me a question or tell me the one thing that you pick out today or one thing that you are reminded about that you will start taking it very serious so you can become the person that can attract success. Go ahead and leave me comments. Go ahead and leave me comments. But let's see what you guys have. Questions, comments. Somebody says, keep seeking for knowledge and ideas. Do it better. Do it like somebody who follows me. Do you see that somebody was here? ideas in what? Knowledge in what field? Make it impactful. That's anybody can say that. You keep seeking knowledge in what area? Ideas about what? That's where the impact is found. That's where transformation is found. So that's not good enough. Do it again. Yes, others, right. There are over what, 29 people following this session live right now. So go for ideas and get relevant industry knowledge. Which industry? Which industry? Get ideas. What kind of ideas do you want to focus on next year? Like if I want to talk now, I say, okay, you know what? I want to focus on getting ideas on technology and expansion as far as my company is concerned. Now that sounds more specific, like somebody's going to do something new, right? Exposure and experience is the best way to generate idea in my agricultural um, industry. Okay, that's good. Now, to make it more better, you want to get exposure in what areas? Maybe you can say, you know what, you would like to travel to Israel because Israel has one of the best agricultural countries in the world, right? Maybe if you have the chance to go to Israel or to get exposure about distribution or agriculture and technology, yeah. So be more specific so that we can see how you can practice this. Okay. The aspect of getting ideas and thinking moments and documenting on media and agriculture. That's good. I'm reminded to always write down my ideas. This is something I have not been very intentional about. Yes, it's very, very powerful to jot down your ideas because you never know when you need them. Trust me. There are days I wake up, I don't know what to write. But I must write because it's part of my daily routine. One of my routines is I must write sometimes at least 1,000 words a day, right? So sometimes I wake up, I don't know what to write. So let my eyes just see a statement that makes sense in my bank. I'm good to go. Good. To go for impact on money, the more I volunteer, the more I get exposure and ideas. Exactly. Tendon Evans says to become more successful by seeking industry-related ideas in education management. That's good impact and keep my mind agile to new ideas. Excellent. Clotilde says, I am reminded to jot down ideas anywhere I am. Immediately they drop in my mind. Yeah, it's why this idea of, I'm sure that many of you can testify here that there was a time an idea dropped in your mind and then you just kept it aside. That's all. I will remember. You didn't just sit down. In your mind, you thought, I will remember. And then when you wanted to remember, till today, you have never remembered that idea. Anybody ever gone? I've gone to that several times. That's why I'm very keen about jotting my ideas. Like that's why I started keeping my phone close and sometimes a notebook in the bed. So sometimes I'm sleeping, I dream of something, and I wake up and I'm late to leave the bed to jot down stuff. I'll go back to bed that when I wake up, I'll remember. When I wake up now, I cannot remember the dream, nor the ideas, nor what maybe the Holy Spirit was teaching me and all of that. And then I said, no. So when something happens right now, many times I wake up from bed, I take my phone, I record it with sleep in my eye, I drop the phone, I go back to sleep. When I wake up in the morning, I'll start trying to make sense of whatever whatever was happening last night. Okay? All right. So let me try to get as many people as possible. BB says, be intentional about seeking knowledge and ideas and deploying to create impact. I would have loved for you to say create impact in what? What do you create impact about? Nobody creates impact globally like that. Everybody create impact in an industry that now goes global. Okay? Nobody can create impact in all industries or generally like that. One thing I love about being specific is it helps you cut the noise and it helps to be focused and dedicated. And see, I have hundreds of ideas around the fields of training and consulting and speaking and the knowledge industry because that's all my mind thinks about. That is all my mind thinks about. I don't care again about whatever. This is my field. When you do that, you quickly cut down the noise, and my mind thinks in terms of qualitatively, like what I'm trying to teach you guys. When you keep doing like that, your mind is very focused and dedicated, and you can push your mind to go deeper and deeper in that industry and enable you to be so powerful in that area. Okay, write down every idea that comes through your mind. Good. Gaining more knowledge by reading and attending events in education on urban agriculture. I will get more exposure by traveling to 2 countries in 2023. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. I am reminded to always put in more than I am being paid for. It will strengthen you. I really used to write down my ideas, and it's amazing how these ideas just pop up unexpectedly. Yeah, you never know the best. See, you never know where the best idea will pop up. Like, for example, this book that we are treating, this book, 35 Days of Redefining You for Success, this book has sold in 7 countries, and I've had amazing testimonies about this book, right? Let me tell you, this book idea came when I was worshiping in church. It was during a worship session in church. And this is my first published book that was very successful, right? It came while I was worshiping in church. I just picked, if you have gone to those who have bought the books, you will see that the book is very unique. It doesn't have a lot of material, but if you go to the book, you write a lot of material and make decisions about yourself. Those who have gone to the book and testify, right? So the concept has been unique and all of that. And it was during a worship service. It was a Sunday worship service. And then the idea just came to that. I just saw it like a book nature, the concept and all of that. I just took out my phone, typed what I was saying during worship there and there, typed it out over, and then I saved it. Then the next day started the process, and boom, that's how the book was written. And it has been a very successful book so far. Okay. BB has written how I'll be intentional about on seeking knowledge and ideas on self-confidence and entrepreneurship and deploy it to create impact in those areas. The last person, increase my ideas and exposure through attending public health online courses and events. I have to jot down ideas immediately. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, everybody, that's it for today. See you tomorrow, same time. And of course, make sure that you are intentionally creating time to put to work all of these things that you are learning. Yes, someone said a question. Type your question quickly before we proceed. Yes, go ahead. Please type your question, let me address it before we go. Proceed. So as I was saying, please make sure that you are putting these things to work. Okay? Make sure you are putting these things to work. Let me tell you something. What the fastest way to the top is your ability to apply what you are learning. If you have that ability to discipline yourself, to put to work what you're learning consistently, that's how you keep on rising. Because so as if you're always climbing one ladder at a time, one pedal at a time. Okay. Question says, is it possible to be someone who creates business ideas for others? Yes, very possible. Very possible. Very possible. But for you to be really successful in that area, you must also be somebody who can create the prototype, or somebody who you have the skills of execution or the framework to execute the ideas. Because sometimes ideas are not really that difficult nowadays. Ideas are not very difficult. The difficult part of ideation is developing the framework to execute the ideas. The difficult part of ideation is developing the process to prototype the idea, test it, and then run it at scale. You understand? So there are people who are ideation experts. There are people that you can go to them and they can give you business ideas in different areas. But they are not just giving you business ideas. They are paying them for the business ideas and for the framework. Like, for example, I have the framework which I teach people on one-on-one coaching and consulting, which I call From Idea to Business Venture Framework. That's a framework which I have that is a highly created, structured, personal strategy framework that which is not public. I use only for my clients who have high level ideas, they have money, they're like that, who have the ideas and the money, and they have not they don't know how, they don't have to go about it. So I have this framework that whatever idea you have, I can walk you through it, you execute it, and it can become a venture or a business. So yes, but you need to is go beyond ideas. Okay, if you can develop the skills, like for example, for those who have taken our mini MBA program, and if you're here, you're not taking that program. If you really want to grow in business knowledge and strategy, and you have a dream of becoming a business consultant someday, taking our mini MBA program, which there are courses that I have personally designed them, very practical marketplace, incredible courses. One of the courses, one of the first courses you take is business idea validation, right? So it is one thing to have an idea. It is another thing to know how to validate the idea and prove that the idea is ready for the market. Okay, Jacqueline, so you get the concept. So it's different when if you really want to be somebody who is a deal broker in ideas or sell ideas, or you want to become an expert able to pay you for your ideas, then you need to go beyond just thinking about the ideas. Go further to become good at idea validation, developing prototype frameworks, developing from idea to business or institution. All of these things, then you can become very valuable in that particular area. Somebody's asking me how many books I have read so far. Since 2012, 11, basically, I don't read less than 25 books a year. So this year, how many have I read? Almost 30. 30, yeah, 30. So good. I want to answer a question. So I'm a crazy reader. I consume a lot. I consume a lot of knowledge. Anytime I am not working, let me give something I do. Anytime I'm not working, like let's say tomorrow I'm not working, between when I wake up from bed till 12 p.m. I wake up from bed till 12 p.m. in the afternoon. I do strictly one thing: knowledge acquisition. Strictly one thing. So I read a book, I read articles, I listen to podcasts, I watch documentary, knowledge, strictly knowledge acquisition. So if you combine it to books, like strictly between wake up from bed till 12 p.m. If I'm not traveling, I'm not working, I'm not having a meeting or anything, if I have a free, anytime I have a free schedule, it is replaced immediately with knowledge acquisition. That's how I live. Okay, good. All right, everybody, have a great time. See you tomorrow, same time. And the 11th will be super, super exciting. God bless you. Take care and put Jesus Christ first place.